Introspection has been such a big part of my own life where I'm really self-reflecting and thinking about why I do things, ask myself questions about my own life and the decisions that I've made. And it's really brought me a lot of clarity over the years, and I hope it does the same for you. So here are 10 questions that I've used to recenter my own life and to bring sometimes more questions and also to ponder about, to think about, in order to give me a better sense of who I am as a person, who exactly is Warren, and what is Warren's place within the world. So let's get started. What are your biggest fears? How are they holding you back from the life you want? Will you let fear run your life? I think this question really hits home because fear really runs our lives to a certain degree. It's everywhere. Every single decision that we make, whether or not it's a fear-based decision, whether or not it's seeping through in our action, in our day-to-day action, whether or not we fear to do something because of the fear of judgment, the fear and opinions of others, can all influence the way we speak, the way we act, the way we see things. I think that we have to push past that barrier of fear in order to live the life that we want, right? On the other side of fear is everything that you've dreamt of. Everything that you want to be is on the other side of fear. So using fear as a compass of, I am scared of doing this, means I should do more of that. And over time, it gets better. If you became rich beyond your imagination tomorrow, what would you do differently? How would you live your life? What could you get rid of and what would you keep? So what's stopping you from doing that today? What's stopping you from living your rich life today? I don't mean rich as in money. Your friends, family, spending time on your passions, on things that you said maybe I'll do when I have more time, right? We're always so bogged down on just trying to survive, on the struggle of paying bills, of putting food on the table, of fulfilling expectations from our parents, from our friends, from society. So all these things that when we remove all of it, when we can no longer be beholden by having to pay bills, how would you live your life? How would you go about doing things in your day-to-day? What would be different? What would be the same? What do you need to remove from your life for peace of mind? In our society, a lot of times we think that more is better. That the more things I have in my life, the better. The more things I have and material possessions I have, maybe I'll feel better. But at what cost? There's a lot of hidden costs to things, and peace of mind is high on the list, right? If I own so many things so that they're always causing me to maintain them, causing me to fix them, causing me to worry about these things, it's gonna weigh on our peace of mind. It's gonna be noisy, the overhead, the burden on our shoulders to have these things, right? So what are some things that we can take inventory of? What are the things that maybe perhaps that we can get rid of to lessen that burden, to remove it from our lives rather than add more to our lives? Who are your true fans? Who has been supporting you from day one, where they've seen you at your lowest, where they still supported you while you were still up and coming, that you were a nobody? Our greatest source of strength are our friends and family and those who support us, that give us a reason to continue doing what we're doing. These are the true fans, and if you can count them on one hand, you are a lucky person. To have a true friend is a blessing. It is very rare. A friendship, a relationship, family. Are you proud of the man or woman that you've become? What are the values you stand for, and have you been true to them? So when I was younger, I had this idealized version of myself, this superhero version of Warren. And I asked myself, am I living up to my childhood expectations? Have I become the man that I said I wanted to become? To become the superhero, to be the hero of my own story? Am I proud of myself and the man that I've become? And if I'm not, am I working on that version to become the best version of myself? That is something that I try to strive for. And I think that it gives you a sense of clarity and purpose, to give you a reason to get up out of the bed in the morning. What have you been waiting to do that you can do today? What have you been putting off for someday? Someday is the worst word out there. Someday I will write that book. Someday I'll start that business. Someday I'll work on that project that I've been seemingly putting off for the last 10 years. Someday, someday, someday. I don't really trust that word. When I hear that word, I say, and I think, that must not be important to you. That I'm letting other frivolous things get in the way of the bigger parts of life, the best parts of life, right? All those things that we leave off for someday are the best parts of life. Think about it. Think about what you have left for someday, and think about whether or not you should do it today. What are the things that you wished for and now you have, but now you've neglected? How can we better appreciate the things that we already have rather than wanting more? The car in the driveway, the laptop that you're using, the phone that you researched for endless hours on, nitpicking on the specs, on the technical details, whether the camera is good enough, whether or not it has the right applications, whether it's an Android or Apple phone. Once upon a time, you really agonize over this every single decision before purchasing it. Now it's in your hand, now you're using it, it's in your pocket, and somehow you be neglecting it. Somehow the thing that you wish for is no longer appealing as it once was. How can we truly appreciate what we have versus trying to attain a new level of things in our life? I think this will give you some ideas on how to unlock a new level of freedom in your life. So how was yesterday and the week before? Are you satisfied and content with the last week, with the last few days? There's a saying that our days become weeks, our weeks become months, and months become the rest of your life. How we live our life every single day has a way of creeping up on us and becoming our lives. So are you happy with the life that you've been living? The day-to-day, starting with the habits. Are you doing the right things? Do you have healthy habits? Are you minimizing and eliminating bad habits? Start small, and change happens day by day, little by little. But over time, you become the version that you always wanted. What have you said you were going to do, but just haven't had time? I don't have time. I'm pretty busy. How are you? I'm really busy. Just so much to do. What I'm hearing is it's not a priority. I'm very busy doing other things except the things that I cherish, that I really, really want to do, but I just haven't had time. So we all get trapped in the cycle, right, of the day-to-day monotony of the grind, going to work and coming from work and being tired and all that. But time flies. Stored away in some dark recess of my mind are all the skeletons of the dreams that I've had, and they've died in the dark recess of my brain because I said I don't have time. Think about the things that you just don't have time for. Maybe it's time to reprioritize. If you continue on the path you are on today, where will you be in 5 years? Where will you be in 10 years? Visualize this. Really visualize it, write it out. Is this version of you in 5 years' time on the same trajectory you are on now? Someone that you wish to be? Perhaps it is. Perhaps it falls short of what you wish for. But what can you do today to move that trajectory in the right direction? It's a powerful exercise to visualize who you want to be in the future and what you will become in the future. If you can have some idea, some version of yourself, then that is going to set you up on the right path. The unexamined life is not worth living. These questions are meant to be a guidepost to give you something to think about, to ask yourself the difficult questions. These are difficult questions, and they tug at us and they make us vulnerable because maybe we feel we're inadequate. Maybe we feel we're not living up to our own ideals. If what we said we wanted, but we're not actually taking the action to bring us there, what does that say about us? Those are some scary thoughts. And I think it's okay to have those thoughts. They recenter us. They give us something to strive for, someone to strive to be the superhero version of ourselves. And that's what makes life interesting.